Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new podcast between me and Ashurvok over here called Speak Versus, where every time we have an episode, we'll be going over some new news, our own insights, and maybe doing some interviews for Invincible Versus. How you doing today?
Honestly, doing pretty great, and I'm not gonna lie, when we were kind of like figuring this out behind the scenes of, hey, do you want to run something for Invincible Versus, like a podcast? And I'm like, say less. You're talking to someone who obviously isn't that much of a fan of the show. It's not like, I have one too many things here. And personally, I never really touched the comics a day in my life, so to say. And yeah, I just think they're neat. I think they're fun.
Pulling up all the stops immediately. I see you, Ash.
Well, yes.
I mean, yeah, you got it. You got to show your cred.
Oh no, I have more than this.
Oh, God.
I have some, yeah. This is what I have now. What I have back at home, I'm not gonna lie, it's concerning. I'm a chronic comics nerd. Not fun.
Same thing myself, but I mainly got Marvel stuff in the background over here. I definitely got to get more Invincible cred myself, and we got time, which segues me into our first topic. We finally have a release date for this game, and it's fairly soon, April 30th of 2026. We got about 4.5 months until we have this game in our hands.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised by. That was until actually really thinking about it, and then I know you and I were both discussing this earlier about how Invincible Versus is essentially getting added to the EVO game list, right, coming up in Vegas. I'm like, wait, that kind of implies we might be getting, what, Q1, Q2 release date, and then finally Game Awards rolls over. Yeah, April 30th. I'm like, oh, so y'all are just playing with me in the middle of my spring quarter like this, having to release at the end of the month, which, that's fair. I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm kind of deciding, do I get this on Steam or do I get this on PlayStation 5? The collector's edition is nice, though. I can't lie.
Yeah, the collector's edition has so much. In terms of like the pricing, we have 3 different tiers for the game. Base game is going to be $50. The deluxe edition is going to be $70, which you get the DLC, some cosmetics in there too, alongside the pre-order bonus of Zero Suit Mark. But then it's that collector's edition that comes out with a collector's box, a steelbook case. We got some art cards in there, some keepsake cards, a controller guide, a little mini comic about Invincible Versus, maybe tying into the story of the game. But the thing that I really like, a letter from the team.
Wait. That's actually pretty cool. Like, everything, kind of like crammed in this collector's box. And then to have that also, well, obviously feels very personal, being like, well, thank you, we appreciate you for getting the game. Enjoy, have fun. I'm not sure if we're allowed to curse here. Fuck some shit up in the game, because it's rated M. At this point, we know there's some blood and gore, guts going on there. And then a couple of things that caught my eye, especially, with the comic. I mean, I know at the Evo booth, like I showed, they had the limited edition Battle Beast comic, 1 out of 1,500, and then seeing, yeah, we're dropping an Invincible version on top of them. I'm like, oh, we're giving away the art cards too. Oh, I have a few of those from the booth itself, mainly Invincible and Battle Beast. I was not able to catch Adam, even Omni-Man, though. The fact that those are coming in with the collector's edition does sweeten the deal.
Yeah, and luckily for me too, who hasn't been able to go to a lot of Invincible Versus events. We will not talk about the New York travesty, but other than that,
Not bad. Okay, let me shut my mouth. I feel I'm gonna mind my business here.
Yeah,
I won't poke it.
Yeah, let's not poke the beast. I definitely could have gone, but either way, it's nice that I'm able to get some of those memorabilia myself. Going to be able to display it on the shelf back there whenever I'm doing a cast, or on the walls here too. Other than the Dragon Ball Z poster and the X-Men poster I got in the background there, a little more flair, but still, it's definitely interesting for me because I do want to get to the collector's edition, but I only own a PC, so it's like,
What's the point?
I want this stuff, but what am I going to do with the other copy of the game?
Right, because you get the collector's edition, also a copy of the game, but it's for PlayStation 5, and for those on Steam wanting to get the edition, it's like, oh, okay, do I shell out $99 on top of an extra $40 here? Like, and then if you want Zero Suit Mark, that's, a little extra. Still, it is a fairly cool pre-order bonus. I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I might have to dip into my savings account to actually get this.
Yeah, I did connect it in my brain. I do have a brother who loves Invincible, and I've been trying to get him on this game. So boom, he's got a PS5. He's gonna play the game. I'm just giving him the extra
Perfect.
copy. Easy 150
For free?
Yeah, I'm giving it to him for free.
Me personally, maybe not like $20, maybe like pizza money? Question mark?
Hey, it's a win-win. I'm getting all the stuff in the collector's edition, and I'm making him play the game. So it's a win-win for me.
True. A win is a win. Genuinely.
True. I will fork the extra money because I want to get that collector's stuff. But speaking of which, we were talking about everything that's releasing, but I glossed over it a little bit. The character pass. We already got DLC confirmed for this game. We know there's going to be 4 DLC characters in the first year of Invincible Versus on top of the 18 base roster slots, which also means there's still 7 base roster slots. We don't know who's taking them yet.
And that, one, intrigues me, but also concerns me, because for the base roster, you'd think, well, surely, picks like Alan the Alien, maybe a couple other names kind of pop up for me. And then I sit here and I'm like, well, surely Alan's not going to be DLC, right? Which is interesting. But then, here's the interesting thing. This is where, the comics nerd in me comes out. And then I remember the character wish list that I had made a couple of days ago that I sent over to you. And I'm like, okay, really thinking about it. Dinosaurus, kind of a name that pops up for me. Thrag, obviously shoe in. I mean, it's Invincible Versus. It's one of the goriest fighting games that I played in a hot minute besides, Killer Instinct MK. That should be obvious. Angstrom Levy, we could see also popping up. But then a couple of friends of mine and myself were included. It's like, hey, Powerplex would actually be a fire pick for a DLC character. I'm not gonna lie.
He would be fire. He was really good in the 3rd season of Invincible. I absolutely loved his performance, of course, by Aaron Paul. And, of course, he's got a vendetta against Invincible. I know he's probably not showing up in Season 4 due to Aaron Paul pulling out. But I do hope to see Powerplex in the DLC. We could also see... I want to see Thrag pulling up, too. I was having a conversation with my brother last night during the Game Awards, and, of course, he's a big fan of the show and the comics. And he pointed out, this is kind of lining up, at least with the release date with Season 4. It's not going to be exactly when Season 4 ends, but it'll be like, there'll be a gap.
There. Yeah.
There'll be a gap.
Kind of like somewhere around there. And then you also have to factor in that characters within Invincible that are, canonically dead. Like Rexplode, which, hey, spoiler alert, the season of Invincible bit the bullet. I mean, accordingly happens in the comics, but in one of the most devastating ways possible, still ended up in the game. So... obviously a lot of names here that have been viciously murdered by Omni-Man or otherwise, possibly DLC characters. You can never really put them out either.
Yeah, no, the Mauler twins are too iconic to be omitted from this game.
Wait, let me tell you, right? Because I know, again, this was discussed, the Mauler twins, we were kind of trying to figure out, how they would play, and I'm sitting here thinking, hey, remember Lil Wayne from, Grand Blue Versus? There's technically 3 of them, but packaged into one. And considering this is like a 3v3 tag game, I'm like, technically the Mauler twins on a single team, wouldn't that just make it a 4v3? Hold on. No, wait. I can't count.
We gotta do the math on this one.
Wait, because technically 1, 2, 3. Technically add in the other Mauler twin, it's 4. And yeah, unless you want to add 2 of them entirely as different characters, but that really wouldn't make sense for the characters.
I feel like it could work. Coming from a tag nerd myself, this is the first time a multiple characters in one has been at least theorized for a tag game. While it never happened for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the development team was poking around the idea of the Fantastic Four all on one slot, and they would switch out with each other. It never happened. It was 2011. They did not have the technology to actually make it happen, but
right.
We're a few years later. We're a few years down the line, so we can definitely make it happen now, potentially.
True. It's possible, and we're in an era right now where a lot of devs, a lot of fighting game players, I'm not gonna lie, are kind of cracked out for these type, and no offense to anyone at all, crack-headedness type characters. Where it's like, you know what, cram him into one, nobody's gonna mind. Then you look months later, hey, NM, why are the Mauler twins right now the meta of Invincible Versus? You look at our top 8s, Mauler. What's happening?
I'm gonna get flashbang with the Evo France Nen Impact. Uvo all top 6, Uvo Crollo Leorio. I saw that when I came out of work. I was like, ah!
I saw that too, and I'm like, huh. I never knew that can happen. And then I'm really trying to gauge this too, of where this game is going to go in the next couple of months, even like 1 year of where we're going to be at top 8s. And based off the beta, I'm telling you right now, it's just going to be Monster Girl, Cecil, third, maybe either Bulletproof or Rexplode. But then if we want to get really cracked out with it, Thula's kind of up.
Oh, Thula with that J2M? J2M alone. I believe Thula's doing some nasty stuff. It's
so gross. So gross.
I remember when me and my friends were all in like the NCFGC house playing the beta I brought over, and we would just switch to Cecil and zone out with Reaniman, and every time we'd switch into Cecil, we'd scream out, "Cecil! I need you, Cecil!" It was just too perfect, because we needed him every time.
It's so amazing. It's so great. And then in the back of my mind, I'm trying to gauge one of these days, I guarantee you, on commentary, I'm just going to have to calculate, okay, I understand we went over, maybe under how many times Cecil teleported. Let's calculate that with the total GDP of Lithuania here. How many trillions of dollars was spent in a single set? 1.2, I'm going over 3.3.
If anyone becomes Evo champ with Cecil, our entire economy is going to be, like, the world economy is going to be gone.
Actually cooked. Gotta be like, hey, Jabali, I understand you're trying to get food, but you just clocked into like negative 30 right now. You want to look at your bank account? Negative 1.2 million. Fair.
Yeah, you see, whenever you run a major for Invincible versus, they hotwire your bank account into the game.
Ooh,
so anytime Cecil teleports, I didn't say your bank. I didn't say your bank account.
Okay, good. Not my bank account. Deuce. Don't do that.
Nah. But still, we still got a lot of characters. There are a few spots we could see for some big heavy hitters. I do think we're seeing Alan the Alien. It would be a crime if we don't see him in base roster. I think he's got a shoe in for there. Could see Kid Omni-Man in there in terms of how evolved Kid Omni-Man would be, like maybe a child or more adolescent, because he does grow up fast. I feel like he would be in the kid form. So I feel like he's a shoe in over there too.
I mean, true. Also, the characters you kind of have to factor in. I know there was, who was it, Komodo, which was also a name that came up. And then seeing how vicious he was in the show for a lot of people scared the hell out of them, with Shrink Ray. And I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. It gets far worse in the comics for this character. If you think Komodo is vicious now, I don't think any of you are genuinely prepared for what kind of moveset we're bringing in Invincible versus whatever. Like, I'm trying to theorize it. And then I know there was also a discussion of guest characters. I know, this early, that mind you, the game has not even come out. We've only had beta, we've only had playtests. But not in kind of like the traditional, oh, we should get this character from this TV show. No, but more so Image Comics. It's like, hey, remember that one-off comic actually in that one show, I should say movie from Cartoon Network, Fire Breather? Yeah, that shares the same universe as Invincible, which catches people off guard too. And I'm like, they did share an issue once with Invincible War. I just want to throw it out there. So it's not off the table.
No, it's not off the table. We also got Spawn, who was in the initial Invincible War, who was omitted from the TV show. So could see Spawn. That's a big one.
I mean, Savage Dragon, also that.
Mm-hmm. I know, there's a lot of good...
out so bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options in there. I know you're trying to theorize about Komodo Dragon. That is a U-coded character through and through, I'm going to be honest.
I'm trying to think, and let me throw it out there right now. Give him okay, this is going to sound cracked out. Make him a grappler. Give him a command grab. But instead of that, make one of his supers just where he eats you. I know it sounds horrible, but it fits with the character, and it sounds about right. Put it up for like... I don't know, maybe like 40, 80%? No, not 80%. Maybe, let's tone it down. 30% damage. It's still heavy hitting, still nasty as hell. Just throw it out there.
I mean, the Invincible characters, the fighters do hit hard in this game. It's really surprising considering some of the combos, especially the supers. Like, dang.
I swear, heads actually go flying in this game, which I played that for the first time. I'm like, oh, I think I just lost my limbs, and
I remember we were literally trying to lab out how to get people to lose their limbs, lose their head, every different like animation. You can't do it in training mode, by the way. You can only do it in an actual match.
True, I do remember that bit. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean I can't make heads pop off in training? But actual action, I'll take it. And that's fine. Just like a Battle Beast 2H, I'm like, oh, okay, my fault. That's somebody's spinal cord on my war mall right now.
Man, we've been talking about characters for a minute, but there's a certain character that I think we should bring up, and that's the brand new character to the game, Elemental, which I think you know a little bit more about who voices her than I do.
Okay, it was so funny because I was like, NM, do you know Tierra Whack? And go, who? And I'm like, no, hey, wait a minute. Surely you don't know to like Worldwide Whack? Whack World? Like some of the best EPs and like mixtapes I've heard in a hot minute. And then hearing her and she's like, wait, she's voicing Elemental, which also to add to that, totally original character going into Invincible. Brand new, and I imagine probably has, a bit of a role in the story mode. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if there is one. There kind of has to be. It's Invincible Versus. And then seeing some of the moves that she has to offer, one of which was literally a full-scale interrupt that I saw, and I'm like, hey, stop that. I like where you're going with this, but it scares me with the air juggle potential that we might have.
It really does, and I found earlier this morning an IGN interview talking a little more about her. They are aiming for her to be a zoner because there apparently isn't too many projectile or full screen zoners that are going to be in the base roster of the game. So that's the main goal that they wanted with Elemental, to be that full screen zoner. She control all the elements. It's basically if Storm was thrown into the Avatar universe. That's how I see her as. But it works in the Invincible universe because of that. It's a power set that feels familiar but new at the same time,
It really does, and I see that, and I really think about it, what you said and what really the IGN interview also spoke about, Invincible versus, again, not having that many projectile-based characters, and I sit here and think, oh, everyone so far that I've seen for now, maybe with a few exceptions, kind of playing more so into, very up-close personal brawler. Obviously, your big body character is going to be big body as possible. Elemental, even for now, feels like a starter, like a breath of fresh air going into Invincible Versus, especially leading up to the release date in April.
Yes. We still have 4.5 months to that. In terms of her role in the story mode, I'm not sure what she's going to have yet. We only saw what she has in the trailer. It seems that she's interrupting a meeting between Invincible and Robot. Could be a hero that they call in that nobody's heard about before to deal with a giant threat that maybe she is tailored for. That's only what I can theorize in my head. But I imagine people would absolutely love to play her, especially because I'm pretty sure she's a flyer. And flyers in tag games have they have a history. They have a history.
I hear that. I hear the word flyer. I hear the genre tag game. Why do I hear an evil presence? Somewhere foreboding in the background. Why is it the Wazzler? You and I already know that Justin Wong is going to be somewhere fiending for this game. You see that team up and it's like, okay, I already know what's about to happen. I ran into you in ranked play. Just put me out of my misery. Get it out of the way. It's 3-0. That happened to me on, the Marvel vs. Capcom collection on my Switch. I just wanted a nice, calm day. I see the name Wazzler, and I'm like, well, that looks from... Oh, hi, Justin.
It's just like, I'm going on my Switch, I'm trying to have a cool day, and I gotta fight an Evo champ. What is this?
I'm trying to have a fun day. And what happens? I get manhandled. I see Elemental, and I'm like, oh, perfect. I already know he's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, somebody gotta tell Justin about Elemental. I bet he's absolutely fiending for the game now. Don't gotta be for long.
We really don't. But speaking of which, though, with competition and, like we mentioned earlier, Invincible Versus, because of an April 30th release date, guess what? Officially popping out at EVO this year. And that's going to be taking place in June.
Yeah, we're going to be having it on the last June weekend, the 26th for the 28th. We have 12 titles this time. And now with Invincible Versus to boot too, it's going to be a big first tournament for Invincible Versus. I do hope to see it somewhere else a little beforehand. We didn't get the announcement stuff yet for Combo Breaker, so, it is in the Chicago area, so, just saying. But still, that's going to be a big showing at EVO. We probably will get a showing for the first DLC character. It'll be 2 months after that point. At least a little tease, I imagine, would be standard. But more so, I'm interested to see, who carves their name in this game. Because I feel like EVO this year is going to be the first real showing of that.
which I'm looking forward to, right? Because at the Invincible versus booth at EVO, it was a little smaller scaled, but then you see the amount of people that packed into that line. I was one of them, crammed all the way around. I'm like, oh my god, people are actually chomping at the bit to play Invincible versus. So, number one, I'm obviously going to look forward to see how the numbers are going to be in regards to registration, to turnout. And number two, I'm not gonna lie, the hype behind this game, it has me hopeful for how this is gonna go at EVO, because I'd like to throw it out there also, is that you, yes, you the people, can decide which games this year, or I should say next year, will be on main stage. So the opportunity to have both, 2X and Invincible versus first year main stage EVO is really what puts me through a trip. I'm looking forward to it. And then with the DLC characters, I'm like, I know Skybound sitting in the background. All right, do we want to push the big red button? How do we make these bitches scream? Surely, what do we figure out here? Reroute Lizard King? Alan, if he's not already in there? I mean, we already have Battle Beast, so I think, Conquest.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
That's a huge one. Get ready for my arrival, worms. You just hear that in the EVO arena. Bro, that would kill me. I already know there would be people. I would tweak. I would actually tweak.
Imagine it's like an Invincible versus sizzle reel of like everybody fighting, cuts to black, and then you just hear from the back, "Stand ready for my arrival, worm." And then we see Conquest coming in from the skies, ready to fight Mark. And then the skylights in the venue all point back at the back of the venue. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I knew you were gonna say that. I'm like, if this dude says Jeffrey Dean Morgan, it would put me through a loop, because when you think about it, right? If I had a nickel for every time Jeffrey Dean Morgan popped up in a fighting game, I would have two, which isn't a lot, but the fact that it's still two, spanning from Tekken 7 into Invincible versus, is enough.
And it's such two different genres of fighting games, too. You got a 3D fighter and then a 2D.
2D tag fighter, mind you, and it's like, how do you get these gifts? Oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah, let's be so real. Of course, he fits straight into home. We already have Thula in there. We already have so many Viltrumites, so why not we get the big one? Or one of the big ones. Of course, we're still waiting for Frag.
I mean, true. I think of big Viltrumites besides, Thrag and Conquest. There's also Lucan, which, also premiered in, Invincible versus, or Invincible Season 2, and then the comics also. And I'm like, that's a big Viltrumite, like actual big-bodied. But then there comes a question, are there one too many Viltrumites to play in this game? We have to be a little bit honest here. It kind of, in an interesting way, between the Viltrumites we have now, I don't want to say it feels stale. I mean, Omni-Man, obviously very different from who we have, like Thula. But then moving into Thrag and Conquest, how exactly is Skybound going to change that up to make them feel fresh?
That is true. We already have those three, and Thula, of course, separates herself apart by having, of course, her hair being able to have a little bit of a limb zone or extender with that. But in terms of how to make Conquest and Thrag a little bit more different, definitely going to be a harder question. I do hope there are more so DLC than base roster, because I feel like that would create a bigger outcry in the FGC because right now we have 3 Viltrumites. Then we add 2 more Viltrumites, potentially another one with Lucan. And if that's all base roster, that's a third. That is a third of Viltrumites. So if maybe we put a little bit more to the DLC, maybe sprinkle them through maybe a year 2 too, then that'll allow it to be a little bit more easier for people to stomach all the Viltrumites coming in compared to just like all at once, take it all,
Right. I think that's the best move, and also saves us from, going onto Twitter and seeing people, like professional players saying, well, here's my Viltrumite tier list. All of them are like S tier because all of them are, quote unquote, broken. They play the same, whatever. We want to kind of avoid that, which is what, I'm looking forward to seeing, and seeing diversity between Viltrumites, which I guess I never thought I'd say in regards to a fighting game, especially Invincible versus. But here we are anyways. Still works.
No, it still works. And I really want to see them like using underutilized characters in Invincible 2 and making them just absolutely goated. Because before Invincible Versus, I'm going to be honest, I did not have an opinion on Bulletproof. He was in the background for me. I'm going to be honest. But then for some reason, the developers just locked in on this guy, made him a mix-up demon, and that Super 2 with the car. I was sold after that. I was sold. He was like, I called you a cab. And then he walks away from the explosion. Like, damn.
It's so good. It's so great. It's even better. Okay, I'm being a huge nerd for this also. Because when it comes to Bulletproof in the comics, I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. That's not the real Bulletproof. I don't want to scream here and say fraud. Yeah, he had a twin brother. He took that dude's place. And the Bulletproof you're playing now, not him. But still, cool as always. If we're talking abilities wise, oh, I need to chill. I know somebody's gonna watch this podcast and be like, what the hell are these nerds talking about? But then really ringing it in, I'm not gonna lie, Bulletproof, besides, Rexplode, and in my personal opinion also Cecil, having some of the nastiest mix-up game, and that was just, the beta, mind you, on PlayStation 5, has me very concerned for how this is playing on base. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It is very scary with how some of those characters played. Seeing Monster Girl, some of the combos and TODs that people were doing with her, I'm gonna be real. I was getting Uvo flashbacks. I did not know I could have flashbacks for a game that still so recent, but I was getting Uvo flashbacks. I was so terrified. I'm like, no, please, I can't do this again.
I was gonna say, you're terrified? I literally had my uncle call me up, mind you, who hasn't played fighting games in a hot minute. This is his first beta back in ever. And it says, hey, can you tell me why this dude plays Hulk from Marvel vs. Capcom 3? And I'm like, stop that. Don't invoke that name here. You're not wrong, but the similarities are there. I love my big body characters, but Monster Girl's output damage was a sight to behold. Let me tell you. I love Monster Girl 2H.
The worst part is, too,
Out of Melange.
I did the most evil thing in the world. Invincible players.
What did you do?
I'm sorry. I put TJ on this game. If you know TJ, yeah, I put TJ on this game. After a dream hack, I showed him Monster Girl, and he was like,
oh, so you're evil.
Yeah.
You're a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
Hydrogen bomb upon the community being like, 1, 2, release him.
Release the Hulk. I'm so sorry, all Invincible competitors. You're going to have to deal with a demon of a Monster Girl. And they're definitely playing Battle Beast too, because I've seen TJ on 2XKO and they've been rocking Darius. After seeing that, I'm like, all right, so it's going to be Monster Girl, it's going to be Battle Beast. Probably Alan if he gets into the base roster. Yeah, he's full big body. His Hulk is not even the craziest part when I calm him. It's always the Sentinel. It's always the Sentinel. That's his craziest part.
Of course, it's the big ass robot. But Battle Beast, another character to look forward to. I mean, you know me. I have the tattoo. Mm-hmm. I have to flex it. Have to show it. But then, not just damage output, but then a friend of mine and I were actually talking at the booth, and is it weird to say that Battle Beast, in an interesting way, kind of plays like maybe MK10, MK11 Shao Kahn? Are you actually gauging with me on this one?
Okay, I can see it. That's kind of fire, though.
Let's think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Hammer, sure. Don't exactly have to worry about any axes being thrown your way, just toss that down. It would be funny if Battle Beast had that option, but no, let's not put that out there. And then, with the damage combos, the routes that, I was kind of trying, especially mostly so 5M and 2M, maybe, a 2H launch. And Battle Beast's air-to-air potential, it's there. It's kind of hard to gauge because, it's a big body character. You don't have access to air dashes like the rest of the cast. But when it hits, goddammit, it hits. Especially a level 2 air super that you kind of have to worry about. If you hit it right, that knee is taking you through a loop. I'm going to tell you right now.
I know. I kept seeing that knee coming out whenever I put my friends on the actual setup that we had in the house, and they would go absolutely crazy with Battle Beast. It was always Battle Beast, Cecil, and Adam Eve. Because... Oh, no.
What did you do? What did you think about it?
No, it's not what I did. It's what I... The what? We already got Magneto and we're getting Storm in this game because Adam Eve shares a lot of stuff with MVC2 Magneto already, and now we got Elemental coming through. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. God. Oh, God. All right, so Sentinel and Captain Commando are...
You're wishing things on us.
I'm not wishing things. I'm seeing things that are already there. We already have the things there. That's the problem. We already have the pieces. People are going to find him eventually. You already know how our...
The pieces are in play. I know there's got to be some name out there that has not touched a tag fighter since, I want to say, 2010, 2011. To put that into perspective, I was in maybe, I want to say, 3rd, 4th grade back then, that all of a sudden sees this game, gets a phone call, and like, hey man, you know these characters are kind of similar. Remember, Colossus used to run back in like Marvel versus Capcom 2? Hey, say less, I'm on the way. It's not going to be good.
I am so scared. If
you're scared?
Yes, I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm excited for this game nonetheless. I already know the old heads are gonna be. We're gonna be having a ball in this game. Oh.
I know. I mean, I'm used to it. I still remember at CEO when I was at the Hunter x Hunter booth and I was playing with another player we both were in Marvel, the Marvel bracket. And they're like, what other games do you play? And they're like, and I was like, I play Marvel and Guilty Gear Strive. So they're like, oh, you're used to this BS. What are you talking about?
Meanwhile, I've been so used to like my 3D fighters, like Dead or Alive 3 and Tekken 5 DR were my first two. And then moving forward with those, I look at 2D fighters. What they got going on over there? I'm scared. I look at tag fighters. 2XKO, mind you, was my first one in a hot minute. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all deal with any of this. It looks fun, but my eyes are trying to keep up at 100 paces per minute. It's tough.
Here's the ruling about tag fighters. You gotta play a god neutral, and if you mess up once, that's the round. That's the round. That's it. You're done.
I play Echo Blitzcrank in that one. I mess up a little too much.
It happens in tag fighters. These are the playground fighters, if you will. Get to do a lot of sick combos, but either way, I'm scared for when Invincible is releasing, but it's still going to be a fun time. It's still how tag fighters are. It's still a known element in the tag scene, and I still do love it. And I already know there's going to be a team that people absolutely brutalize in this game. And again, we still have 7 characters to go, so maybe there are still some monsters we don't even know about yet that we're going to be seeing soon.
I'm already theorizing my team right now. If this is like a year or 2 into it, God willing, right? Battle Beast, Ellen the Alien, Thrag. For now, Battle Beast, Monster Girl, I have to run Cecil. I have to.
Mm-hmm. You just have to. For me, it's like I used in the alpha Invincible, Bulletproof, and Rexplode.
Oh, I hate that. Ooh.
You know how I play. I like to rush down. I don't like to think. I want to go in.
That's fair. I don't want to think. I just need a Rexplode-shaped wrinkle in my brain to form, and I can take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Seems fair.
Yeah, Rexplode's my projectile. That's all I need. But in terms, like, here's the thing though. I don't have a character that's screaming out like me. You know. I need a Spider-Man from Tokon. I need a Vi from 2XKO. I need a speed demon. And of course, there's a speed demon that comes into mind. And as we said, dead characters never stay dead. So, if we could pull a Hail Mary and get Red Rush in this game, I'd absolutely love that. A little speed demon over there. But that is definitely a Hail Mary.
See, I mess with that, and I'm thinking, okay, you want like those type of characters? I think of like 2. Well, Red Rush, you said it for me. But then another demon that does come to mind is always Best Tiger. True. Right now.
Mm-hmm. Could get Best Tiger in there. I could definitely see him as a DLC character. I don't know if he's making base roster, but definitely more down the line I see for Best Tiger, stuff like him.
He's got guns. That's just Happy Chaos in another font. Let's be so real. Yeah. Bowing your head because I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Oh, we don't need Happy Chaos back. We don't need Happy Chaos.
Yeah, we do.
But you know who we could also add that's kind of like that I said, that also leads into our little ending segment and guest characters. Let's add the Agent Spider or Spider-Man, because we do got something coming up with Spider-Man in the Invincible universe. If you remember the Marvel team-up comic from way back when, where Invincible showed up in the Marvel universe with Spider-Man, they teamed up. It's getting a reprint come March 4th, and because of that, we could see it come back, especially because it was referenced in the Invincible show. If you remember the episode where the season 2 finale, where Invincible is going through all of the portals from Lestrum, and then cut to Agent Spider fighting a knockoff Doc Ock, and then they're like, oh, okay, you're familiar. Why are you beating up on this guy? He's the bad guy.
Exactly. And then I think the cherry on top, if I remember correctly, it was one of the OG Spider-Man voice actors. I think it was either Yuri Lowenthal or it might have been somebody else, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty sure it was Josh Keaton.
Josh Keaton, that's the name. Okay, sorry, I'm mixing up my spiders here because I know there's Yuri, there's Josh, and a couple other folks, obviously come to mind, Tobey Maguire there too. But then with the reprint, I look and I'm like, wait, wasn't the last time this was dropped in I hate to say it was 2005. We were very young back then.
I was
a baby.
I was 1 year old. I was goo goo gaga. Yeah, you were 4.
I was 4. I was 4. Oh my gosh. It's good to see, especially comics like these, get reprints because there's people that either play or watch Invincible and then look, it's like, hey, I didn't know this was out. Or maybe read the comics, have watched Invincible second on Amazon, and I go, oh my gosh, that's coming back out? I'd actually like to add that to my collection. I know I would. I know others would also. And then there's part of the folks out there that realize, wait, they did crossovers with Marvel? Question mark? You know that?
Maybe we could see a crossover in the games too. You never know. Spider-Man and Invincible versus 2 tag fighters. Okay, that is. I did a Hail Mary with Red Rush. That is from the moon. That is from Mars.
No, the Red Rush Hail Mary was from the moon. That Hail Mary in particular, we're talking like Kepler 46 or something. Maybe Pluto. A little further back past our asteroid belt. Because knowing Marvel today and, the mouse kind of being in charge, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this, that might be a little impossible. It would be nice, but that's going to be some money.
Yeah.
A few million.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot, especially knowing the development cycle of UMVC 3. And if you don't know how the development of that game was like, long story short, yeah, Disney really held Capcom down. You could look at a list of scrap characters that the reason is just Marvel didn't want it. Marvel didn't want it. Marvel didn't want it. There were some big ones too. Rest in peace, right. Juggernaut.
No, for real. I look at that and I'm like, damn. I wish it would have gone through, so many characters that I wish would have popped up in that game. But in an interesting way, you compare that, it's in a weird kind of style. You know how Def Jam wouldn't be made today, but it went off back then? If anything Marvel vs. Capcom related tried to happen again today, we'd have a list at least 13 miles long on what characters to add, what characters we cannot add, what characters cannot have a drop of blood on them, hence don't add. But yeah, not fun.
Yeah, no. I know Marvel has gotten a little looser in terms of their strictness because MVCI, we don't talk about what they did for that game. The fact
that game for Christmas.
The fact that I did a project on this, the fact that Marvel said to content creators working with the game that they couldn't have any Marvel characters lose in matches was whoa. Yeah, I'm not pulling your leg.
See, this is why I'm glad I look at Invincible versus now, and I love how we were all on the same page of it doesn't matter how strong you are, you're still getting beat the hell up. You're still getting mauled. I'm sorry, it has to happen.
Yeah, no, everyone's still getting beat up.
Damned.
I'm happy that Invincible versus is the way it is, and it's cool we're getting that comic. Of course, we're not getting Spider-Man. Maybe the Agent Spider. Maybe that that's a little closer in the solar system. Definitely not close at all to Earth, but yeah, still closer.
Somewhere around there, maybe 2.5 light years, a little less. If we're talking FTL speeds, it's there. It's not close to us though. I'm sorry.
No, I've already accepted that. I'll play with my Rexplode for now, and pray I get 2 other characters that are more my speed in the base roster. But if not, I still got Bulletproof. I still got Invincible, so I'll still be fine either way.
I mean, true. Getting closer to that release date, and then Evo aside, I know we also possibly have other dates. We need to remember that with certain events, Combo Breaker still have yet to be announced. Anything like CEO, also a bit of a ways away. I mean, I know the date did change, kind of flip-flopped around with Evo. So now that's going to be in August. So Invincible Versus popping up there. Never say never. I would personally like to see it. And now I think I have to go set myself on a mission of how do I convince my SoCal scene to maybe add Invincible Versus to Chain Shift. That would be fun. Just put it out there.
For my scene, it's they're tired of me. They're tired of me. They know. They know I'm gonna. I was literally the one who brought the Alpha to the house. They know I'm gonna push for that game, just like I do for Hunter x Hunter and 2XKO. Literally last night, I remember talking about 2XKO at the Game Awards and saying like, "Man, great for Fatal Fury," but you know, a little part of me wished 2XKO won, and they're like, "All right, electric chair." Oh. They hit me.
Death row. Oh my goodness.
They said belt. Yeah, no. They are tired of me, so they already know I'm going to be trying to get something for Invincible versus. It's still love, though. It's still love.
That's fair. Just gotta push the Invincible versus agenda. But before we, bring everything to an end for episode, I want to say 0. I mean, 1. We'll get to that. We're working on it.
Yeah.
And where can folks find you? What projects are you working on down the line here?
Of course. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Ninstar123. That's NINSTAR123. Posting commentary, maybe any brackets I'm running through, local stuff like that, new game announcements. I do got a triple stage idea coming through for Marvel Tokon. Kind of hit in my head when I was commentating during Paragon Line. It'll be the New York skyline, and it'll be based off the Dark Reign storyline that happened a little bit earlier in the comics after Secret Invasion, so stay tuned on that. And of course, I got a YouTube at Ninstar236 where you'll check that out. But speaking of, where can the people find you, Ash?
So y'all can find me pretty much everywhere. It's at Ashurvok. I mean, you can kind of see the name in the background. It is Ashurvok, a very cool little sign I have back there. And in regards to projects that I'm working on, well, besides this one, I actually have an interesting little thing coming up next year for my streamed D&D campaign, but it's set in Runeterra. So if you're a fan of League of Legends, 2XKO, anything like that, that's going to be one thing. And if we're talking more recent, I actually have Play versus Street Fighter 6 coming up that I'm going to be commentating, a little few days away for High School Street Fighter, which should be pretty fun.
Oh, I know that's going to be a blast. I remember being in high school myself and hearing the Play versus when I was into Smash and Splatoon and trying to get into my high school. So I already know that a lot of high school kids have been feeding for it too, even in Street Fighter. So you're going to have a grand old time. I absolutely love people over there at Play versus.
Looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward, again, to Invincible Versus. So for those of you who obviously have been watching throughout, or maybe missed the release date, or maybe have not been paying attention, which that's kind of on you, April 30th, 2026 is the official release date. And if you're so lucky, you might want to grab yourself the Collector's Edition for PlayStation 5, which comes with a steelbook, limited edition comic, cards, and all sorts of stuff with it.
Yes, so make sure you pick it up. Pretty sure right now it is Amazon exclusive, so make sure you go specifically to Amazon for that, for some trusted delivery, and also if you want to pick it up for PS5 and Xbox Series X. But with that, we're going to bring this first episode to a close. We hope you have a good rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you're at, and you all take it easy. Deuces.